Happy Friday! Welcome to our last video of our From the Mountains to the Sea series. We are so excited to show you our garden. It's coming along. It's small. It's small scale, not huge, but we are growing some things. The chickens have eaten some things, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's life. But we're going to talk a little bit about what makes plants grow, and then we're going to go see what is in some of our herb gardens, and then we'll go to our main garden. Let's go. So most everyone knows that most of our plants come from a seed, and that seed can be planted by you. It could be a volunteer plant that was there, maybe like I talked about, or I'm going to talk about pumpkins growing. If you throw a pumpkin into the woods after Halloween and just leave it there to rot, the seeds will actually get into that dirt and they will grow, and you'll have volunteer pumpkins later. So they can grow on their own. Some of our animals eat seeds, so a lot of our birds like to eat seed, and they can eat it, fly a couple miles, and then they can excrete it, and that plant may grow. Or if anyone has ever had a hitchhiker, one of those little seeds on your socks or your pant legs, that's another mode of transportation for seeds. They will just cling on to something, whether it be a pant leg, an ankle, a sock, or an animal, and be on their merry way, not knowing where they're going to end up. So, what our seed needs to grow. I have arrived and I'm talking to my seed because it needs some CO2. So that's one of the things. Some sun has now come out to give that light to that seed. There is now a rain shower. You know it's summertime, very unpredictable, and it's raining sideways, so you know it's a good shower. And lastly, our nutrients from the soil have shown up, you know, like the phosphorus, the nitrogen, the potassium, all that good stuff in order to make it grow. And if you combine all of those elements, it turns into a beautiful mammoth sunflower, as big as Miss Jessica, or whatever that you put into it. As long as you put in some love, it has to have that food from that soil, so you have to have good soil. You need some sunlight depending on what kind of plant it is. It needs rain. And it needs that CO2, and we breathe out CO2 and plants give us oxygen, so it's kind of a nice transfer. Let's go see our gardens. We have another visitor taking us to our herb garden. Does anybody know what kind of herb this is? It's rosemary, yeah. Reggie loves to roll in it. This is his favorite place to kind of lay and hang out. He watches the birds. He does not eat them. He's not a very good hunter. He gets fed here, so he doesn't really have to hunt. But rosemary is used. I use it all the time. We split this guy because he was so huge, and I actually dried out some of the twigs and then plucked all the rosemary off, which took forever, and my fingers were kind of stained green for a while, and just put them in a really pretty glass jar, and I use it in my kitchen all the time. I love herbs, and I have an herb garden of my own. Over in this bed, we have a mixture. We have some flowers that Miss Brenda has planted, but we also have some sage here in this bucket. Never really used sage in any kind of dishes, but right here we have something that I use a lot. It's parsley. Hey, Reggie. Parsley is actually seeding right now, so these little guys are its flower, and it will produce seeds from that, and I'll try and save it and use for next year, but usually this kind of just takes over and grows back. But it will seed, and you can just leave it and it will grow back. It'll seed itself, really. But it is gone. Crazy. Got some ladies and gents joining us on our walk to our garden. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the farm. As you can tell, it does not have a fence around it. Hopefully we can do something to keep the chickens out in the future. We definitely want to, before our fall crops, want to add some more dirt. The dirt that's here isn't the best, so that might be why some of our plants have failed, but also our chickens have acquired a really fancy taste for okra and broccoli. In our first bed, we have 2 tomato plants that are growing. I don't know about you guys, but I love cherry tomatoes. I just like picking them off the vine. My parents growing up, we used to have a garden, and Mom would never get to pick anything because when I got off the bus after school, I would go straight to the garden and get a snack. Right here is where our okra and broccoli were. As you can see, our chickens have kind of wallowed in the dirt and they have headed all of our broccoli. They actually will come and cover themselves in dirt. It's like a little dust bath to get mites off of them. You can see there's a little baby okra right there. Maybe it will survive, who knows. But our chickens have definitely had quite a feast over here. I'm gonna try and show you guys our carrots. I have quite the audience now. But these are two types of carrots. We have a Danvers half long and a Scarlet Nantes. I love carrots. If you guys saw, I think it was last week, Anna at Rock Eagle. Excuse you. Anna at Rock Eagle actually picked one of her carrots because they were ready. Ours are obviously not. They're not very big. But she picked one for a snack, and I will totally do that. Our garden here is used primarily for our farm to plate class, to show kids that there is also a plant factor in farming, not just what we think of livestock, but also most of this produce will be used for Sheldon, our gopher tortoise, in the herp lab, but also when Micheska wants a snack, she comes out here. These over here, I'm going to pan out. There's our 12 spinach plants. This is basically what I planted for Sheldon. So they'll get really, really big, and we'll be able to pick those off, and they'll grow new growth on them. Looks like somebody's been munching on that one. But we have 12 of those guys over here. We need to do some weeding in our garden. Our chickens have also nibbled on a few of our squash plants. We do have a couple right here that are looking really good. They squat down. You can see these are their mature adult leaves. So hopefully in the near future they will start producing us some squash. I don't remember if Anna said this in her video, but this might be her favorite spot, and it is my favorite spot as well. But I have planted some mammoth sunflower seeds. Has anyone ever planted any type of sunflower seed? These are my first mammoth ones, and apparently they get like the size of your head. So I'm super excited for summer to get here so I can see these beauties in all their glory. We have, I think, 12 of them. That is the gist of our garden. It's not huge, but we got a little bit going on. Hopefully this fall we'll be able to transfer all new dirt in, and my goal is to make it a little bigger, maybe connect the two, possibly get rid of the railroad ties, and then somehow either make an enclosure where the chickens can't get in, or maybe a wagon covering over it that's big enough where they can't mess with anything. But hopefully in the fall and winter this place will be full of growth. We're gonna walk over to the herb lab because I have a few things growing over here. If you're anything like me, I love flowers and plants. I'm not very good with vegetables, but I actually have been container gardening, and some of them are doing great. So we have some spinach. I put these up here just in case the chickens ate what was over there, and they have. Thankfully they haven't really messed with this, but I do have some juvenile spinach plants. And then this stuff has just gone crazy. I bought a package of, I think it's called Mezclin salad mix. And it's got like 5 different types of greens. And it's got arugula, spinach, and just all sorts of other things. But they are going crazy. So I've been picking that off and giving it to Sheldon in his salad, along with his regular lettuce that he gets. So you can tell those are doing a really awesome job. And then these two plants that I'm about to show you are both pepper plants, and I saved them from our garden last year. Deer came and ate the whole entire thing. It was just a stick. So I'm pretty impressed. This first one is a yellow bell pepper plant, and it's got 4 peppers on it right now. There are 2 over there, and they're just so cool. I can't wait to eat one. I love bell peppers. So I saved that from a deer muncher. And then this guy right here is some sort of hot pepper plant. And I'm not sure exactly what's going on with him. I really want to put them in the ground, but I'm afraid of them being eaten. He has like 1 million blooms on him, and he has not produced a single pepper. So I don't know what's really going on with him, or if he was too damaged from last year to really produce anything. You guys can see they have these blooms, and then inside the bloom is a tiny pepper. You can't really see that because it's so tiny, but the bloom will eventually fall off, and that is where the pepper will start growing. So all of those yellow bell peppers started off with a bloom, and then the bloom fell off and they just started growing. Something Something else we wanted to share with you guys, within 4-H, they have some growing competitions, and 2 of them that I know of are watermelon growing, which is what these 2 little guys are right here. We have some watermelons growing. Hopefully we will be able to put these into the garden, or I might just transplant them into a really big pot. I have one right there. That way our little chickens, maybe Miss Goldie, will not nibble on them, and we might be able to put them into the competition. You never know. But they also do pumpkins. We don't have any pumpkins growing right now, but we did have quite a few volunteer pumpkins pop up, and those just came from decaying pumpkins that were laying in our garden. There's actually some in the woods, which is really awesome. I'm gonna kind of walk back to the farm, all my ladies and gents. We hope you guys have enjoyed this series of From the Mountains to the Sea. Thank you so much for joining us every Friday and every Monday through Friday, really, with all of the centers. We've enjoyed your comments, your questions, and just your likes, and just following along with us. We hope you guys have a wonderful summer, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.